Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone's ready for some yoga this afternoon. First, it's a new month, a new beginning. Like I said, it's the first of the month. So wake up, and let's get some yoga on. Today we're just going to go through a little flow, holding our poses. It is regular yoga. We're going to be flowing for 60 minutes. I always say get a towel, a block, or even a couch pillow that you could have around just to help you in some of the poses if you need them. Today we're going to get started in the center of our mat. We're going to start off in a peaceful warrior, which is like a wide-legged child's pose. So from here, you just want to make sure your knees are out mat's distance, big toes touch. All we're going to do here is let our bellies rest in between our thighs. Walk your hands out to the top of your mat. Bring your forehead to the center. And here, let's just close our eyes and start breathing in and out through your nose. Just slowly relax your face muscles, relax your jaw, and let that tongue fall to the bottom of your mouth. Let your belly fill with air. Your thighs should fill your belly on every inhale. And then every exhale, try to get your belly closer to your spine. Just knowing the next 60 minutes is your 60 minutes. So anything else that's going on, just block that out of your mind right now. This is the time for you. Like I said, it is the first of the month. We've made it to May. Maybe we start setting intentions for what we want to come out of May. What we're looking forward to. What we've been manifesting, has it been coming to the light? Right now, we want to set an intention so we could come back to this at any point in our practice today. Maybe it's a word, maybe it's a color, maybe it's a mantra that you have going for yourself right now. Focus on that. Let that get you through your practice. Slowly start walking your hands together to meet in a prayer position. From here, really ground your elbows down and bend at them, bringing your hands up and over behind your head. So you should feel this in your shoulders, little shoulder stretch. Still remembering to breathe in and out through your nose. Slowly bring those hands back down towards the mat. Separate your hands and look in between your hands. We're going to inhale, lift this right hand all the way up to the sky, and we're going to get it and we're going to thread it underneath the left. Placing your shoulder down on the mat and then your ear. Still pushing your hips towards your heels. Just getting a little shoulder stretch on. Stretching out our shoulders. We do have a few chaturangas that we're going to go through. Then on your next inhale, pull that hand all the way back to the sky. Roll it around, place it down on the mat. Bring your forehead down. Take that eye gaze in between your hands. Inhale that left hand all the way up to the sky, and then thread it through the right. Dropping your shoulder down first and then your ear. Breathing in and out through your nose. And inhale, reach that left hand all the way up to the sky. Exhale, bring it down. Place that forehead one more time on the mat. And slowly start walking those hands back towards your face. Come high onto those knees, coming into our tabletop. Maybe tap out the tops of your feet. In your tabletop, we want to set up a good tabletop here. So make sure your legs are hips distance. You can measure by 2 fists in between. You want to have your hips over your knees. Spread your fingers wide. Have your shoulders over your wrist. Make sure those fingers are wide. It helps better with the grip. I'm going to just do a few cat-cows here, resetting our spine. So when we inhale, we're going to let our belly hang heavy and take that eye gaze and look all the way up. And then we're going to bring our chin to our chest. Exhale and round and curl, bringing your belly towards your spine. Inhale. Take that eye gaze, look all the way up to the ceiling, let that belly hang heavy. And then exhale, bring your chin to your chest, your belly to your spine, round and curl, push them out away. One more time, inhale. Take that eye gaze all the way up. And then exhale, round and curl. Coming back to center, to neutral tabletop. Tuck those toes behind you. Lift those knees off the mat and push your hips high. Melt your chest towards your thighs. Coming into your first downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Here you might be a little tight, so bend that right knee, then the left. Just opening up those legs. Make sure you're rolling your shoulders out of your ears. Push the mat away. Spreading your fingers wide. Keep a micro bend into those elbows. I'm going to stop here. Give yourself a moment. Let that head hang heavy. Shake it no. Nod it yes. Always ending on a positive note. And then take that eye gaze in between your hands. And all we're going to do is tiptoe all the way up towards the top of the mat. Coming into our Uttanasana, our forward fold. If you can't get your hands down to the mat, everybody take a big bend in the knees. Let your belly rest on your thighs. Then the mat will be a little bit easier to touch. Let the head hang heavy. If you have that pillow or a block, you can also bring that in front of you and have the mat come up towards you. Let your head hang heavy, no tension in your neck. I'm going to slowly walk hand over hand to the left side. Getting a little bit deeper in the stretch. Try to keep your hips straight. Then walk hand over hand to the right. Still letting that head hang heavy. No tension in the neck. Come back to center. From here, we're going to gently roll up one vertebrae at a time. Let those fingers drag across the fronts of your leg. Coming to a standing position into our mountain pose here. Spread the fingers wide, roll those shoulders down and back. Tuck through your tailbone, lift up through your rib cage. You're going to inhale, bring those hands up and overhead. Let those pinkies touch. Keep those shoulders down and rolled out of your ears. And then cactus your arms, back bend, let it out. Inhale your hands up and overhead. And then exhale, we're gonna swan dive forward. Pull your belly toward your spine. Push your chest out. Come out down with a flat back. Fingers come towards the mat. Come high onto those fingertips. Come high onto those tiptoes. We're gonna squat it down. Bring your chin into your chest. And you're gonna bring your forehead to your knees. Squeeze your thighs with your biceps. And lift your booty off of your heels. You're going to inhale, bring those hips all the way up. Stay high on those tiptoes. Exhale, drop those heels. Inhale, roll up one vertebrae at a time. Reach those hands up and overhead. Let those pinkies touch and then back bend, let it go. Inhale up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Hold that belly in, guys. Come down with a flat back. Come high on your fingertips. Come high onto those tiptoes. Bend the knees. Tuck your chin. Forehead to your knees. Really try to pull up through your pelvic floor here. Try to squeeze your belly towards your spine as tight as you can. Keeping your forehead to your knees, your chin tucked. Squeezing your thighs with your biceps. If you can't get your forehead to your knees, that's okay. Keep your chin still tucked. It's a modification and that's fine. You could stay right here. You're going to inhale, lift those hips all the way up to the sky. Exhale, bring those heels down. And then inhale, roll up one vertebrae at a time. Inhale, hands up and overhead. Back bend, let it go. One more time, inhale, hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward. One more yogi ball, you guys got this. Come high onto your tiptoes, bend your knees, tuck your chin. Forehead to your knees, squeeze your thighs with your biceps. Pull up through that pelvic floor. Hold that belly in towards your spine tight. Keep that chin tucked. Inhale, bring those hips all the way up to the sky. Exhale, drop those heels down. Roll up one vertebrae at a time. Hands follow up and overhead. Touch those pinkies, cactus the arms, let it go. Inhale up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Stay here in your forward fold just for a moment. We're going to inhale, we're going to half lift. Bring your hands to your shins. Come out, push your back straight, crown of your head out. Eye gaze should be about 6 inches in front of your toes. And then exhale, come down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale down. We're going to step back with our right foot, our left foot to follow, coming into a plank pose here. Everybody drop down to your knees. It is our first plank of our practice today. Let those shins go flat. Let your feet go flat. Make sure hips and shoulders are in alignment. From here, this is a modification. Everybody could take this. You shift that body weight slightly over your wrist. You're going to hug your elbows into your rib cage. And you're going to come down halfway. Don't let your chest pass your elbows. Inhale, push up. And then exhale, we're going to come halfway down. And we're going to pull our chest up and through, coming into our cobra pose. So thighs here stay pushed down to the ground. We are in a cobra. We're not up dog. You want to roll those shoulders down and out of your ears. You don't want to be sinking into them. Push the mat away. Everybody take your chin to your chest. And we're going to roll our chin over to the left. Getting a neck stretch in here. Trying to find your feet behind you. Try to relax through your thighs. Relax through your glutes. And then slowly drag your chin all the way over to the right. Make sure you don't have your shoulders in your ears. Bring your chin back to center. Everybody push away onto your knees, coming into a tabletop. Then we're going to tuck our toes behind us, lift our knees, push the mat away, coming into our downward facing dog. Just breathe here in and out through your nose. We're going to inhale, we're going to lift that right foot all the way up to the sky. Bring that right knee into your chest, roll it forward, place it in between your hands. If you cannot lift up that way, drop down to your knees. Swing the foot around, bring that foot in between your hands, then come high onto those toes behind you. It's the same thing. Have a good runner's lunge here. You want to make sure your knee is over your ankle. Pull this right hip back, left hip forward. Push through your chest. Make sure you have a nice solid foundation here. Shift that body weight forward. Bring that left foot up to meet the right. Coming back into that forward fold, roll up one vertebrae at a time. Inhale, hands up and overhead. And then exhale, back bend. Inhale, hands up and overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward. Just working on Surya Namaskars, sun salutations. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale down, swing that left foot back, that right foot to follow. Everybody drop down to your knees, and let those feet go flat, shift that body weight over. Exhale, hug those elbows in halfway. Inhale up, exhale down and through, pulling up through cobra. Boo, sorry. You want to push back to your knees, come into a tabletop, tuck your toes behind you, lift your hips, push away. Make sure to roll those shoulders down and out of your ears. Shake your head no, nod a yes. Working on the left side. If you have to modify, drop down to your knees, swing that left foot around. Everybody lift that left foot up to the sky. Bring the left knee into your chest. Roll it forward. Place it in between your hands. Make sure you're pulling that left hip back, right hip forward. Try not to lean so much on your thigh. No pressure on that thigh. Lift up off of it. Push your chest forward. Roll those shoulders back. Frame that foot. Shift the body weight forward. Bring that right foot up to meet the left. Inhale, come up one vertebrae at a time. Hands come up and overhead. And exhale, back bend. Inhale, up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, down. One more time. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, down. So from here, we could either hop, step, or walk back to the back of our mat. If you're going to hop, I've been cueing. You guys, make sure you bend your knees as much as you can. Try to get your booty down. Place your hands on the mat firmly. And when you hop back, you want to land in a low plank. Because you want to bend your knees. You don't want to, or bend your elbows. You don't want to hurt yourselves. We don't want to hurt our joints when we jump back. It's kind of hard to jump back into a full plank. So if you do so, bend your elbows as much as you can. Push your chest. You want to push your chest forward. And when you hop back, you're going to land in that low plank. And then you inhale, come up. And then you exhale, come down halfway and pull yourself up and through Urdhva Mukha, upward facing dog. Keep those shoulders down and out of your ears. Make sure you're pushing through the tops of your feet. We're not on our thighs anymore. And if you have to take cobra, that's okay too. Bring your chin to your chest, roll over those toes, lift the hips, push the mat away. Downward facing dog. Breathing in and out through your nose. Gonna work in a side twisted lunge next. Maybe play in it a little bit. Inhale, right foot all the way up. Exhale, bring that right knee, right elbow, and pause. Inhale, push that right knee back. And then bring that right knee, left elbow. Bring it across your body. Pause here. Inhale, push it back. And then inhale, bring that knee to your nose. And when you do this round and curl, pull your shoulders over your wrist. Tuck your chin into your chest. Pull that knee to your nose. And then place that foot in between your hands. Coming into that runner's lunge again on the right side. Knee is over the ankle. Keep on pulling up on that back hamstring. Pull this right hip back, left hip forward. Place that right hand on that right hip. Place that left hand firmly inside your left hand. Place that left hand firmly inside the right foot. If you need to modify, you could drop down, let your shin go flat. Wherever you're at, start turning your body over to the right side, lifting that right hand all the way to the ceiling. Spread those fingers wide. We're going to slowly start dropping that right hand towards the back, coming high onto those left fingertips, hinging that body all the way up. Coming in a side twisted lunge. You really want to make sure you're still lifting up through that back hamstring. Make sure that right knee is over that right ankle. Try to pull your belly towards your spine. Get deeper in the stretch. Take the eye gaze behind you. Then inhale, come all the way back to center. Bring hands up and overhead, coming into a crescent lunge. Keep those shoulders down and out of your ears. We're slowly going to start dropping that left hand down inside of that right foot. Staying high up, reaching that right hand towards the ceiling. And exhale, bring that hand down to frame the foot. Sweep that right foot back to meet the left. Push it into your downward facing dog. We're going to practice getting into our downward facing dog from our plank. When you get into a downward facing dog, you shouldn't have to adjust your feet from plank pose. So everybody take a deep inhale. And then come high into those tiptoes, and then exhale, roll it forward. When you roll forward, you should already be in a plank position. Your shoulders should be over your wrist. Your shoulders and hips should be in alignment. Inhale, push those hips back. Exhale. Inhale, roll it forward. And then exhale, push it back. One more time. Inhale, roll it forward. And then exhale, push it back. We're going to inhale, lift that left foot all the way up to the ceiling. Bring that left knee, left elbow, pause. Inhale, push it back. And then exhale, left knee, right elbow, pause. Push it back. Then we're going to bring that knee all the way towards your nose. Round and curl. Push the mat away. Come into that plank. Place that foot in between your hands. Sorry, guys. I'm sweating. When I got here, the heater was on in the hot room. So it's kind of warm. So place that foot on the mat. Make sure your left knee is over that left ankle. Pulling that left hip back, right hip forward. Place that right hand inside that left foot. Bring that left hand to that hip and start turning to the left. Lift that left hand all the way up to the ceiling. Spread your fingers wide. Remember, breathe in and out through your nose. And then come high onto those right fingertips. Start reaching that left hand behind you, coming into that twist on the left. Make sure you're staying high onto that ball of that right foot. Lift up through that right hamstring. Sink down in your hips. Slowly inhale, bring those hands up and overhead. Coming into that crescent lunge. Hold it here just for a moment. Try to sink it down in those hips. And then slowly start bringing that right hand down towards the mat. Swing that left hand up and around. Bringing that left hand down. Frame that left foot. Sweep the left foot back to meet the right. coming into your plank pose, coming into your chaturanga flow. Exhale, halfway is down. Inhale up, exhale, down and through. Tuck the toes, lift the hip, push it back, downward facing dog. Everybody start walking your hands back towards your feet. Coming into Padahastasana from the front, hands to foot pose from the front. Bend your knees as much as you can, get your belly on your thighs. Sorry. Your belly's resting on your thighs. If this is all you got and you can't go any further, stay right here. If you have a little bit more, flip your hands, palms face up, and then step on them with your feet, getting your toes to touch your wrist crease. Let your head hang heavy. And slowly start letting your hips come up to the sky. Keep your belly tight towards your spine. You can start using your arms as weights and have your elbows go out to the sides of the room, getting yourself a little bit deeper down. In these positions, we're looking behind us, looking behind you through your legs. You can tie yourself here. I leave the past behind as I move forward with confidence and grace. Slowly, get your hands out from underneath your feet. Heel toe your feet together. Bring your hands to your hips and come all the way up with a flat back. We're going to go into side half moon. Half moon, you want to make sure you're still tucking through your tailbone. You're lifting up through your rib cage. You're going to inhale those hands up and overhead. Roll those shoulders down and out of your ears. We're going to grab our left wrist with our right hand, palm face up. Keep those shoulders still out of your ears. Keep that tailbone tucked. Try to lift up through the rib cage. You're going to inhale, and then you're going to exhale. You're going to hinge over to the right, bumping your hips out towards the left. So you should look something like this. It's not so much how far you could get into this pose. It's really how much of a stretch you're going to feel alongside that left body. Make sure you're rolling that left shoulder back, right shoulder forward. Make sure your throat is exposed. You don't want to be bunched up like this. Try to get long. Try to even your weight out in between your feet. Maybe take that eye gaze slightly over that left elbow. We're going to inhale, we're going to come halfway up, and then we're going to exhale, we're going to come down just a little bit further. See if you can get a little bit deeper in the pose. Inhale, come back to center. Separate your hands, exhale, back bend. Inhale, up. Keep those shoulders down and out of your ears, still tucking through that tailbone, roll those shoulders down, lift up through your rib cage. Grab the right wrist with the left hand, palm face up, roll those shoulders down and out. Inhale, and then we're going to exhale, hinge over to the left. Remember, it's not as far as you could go this way. It's how much of a stretch you're getting here. So you're really using this hand like as an anchor to pull yourself over, get into that side body. Remember, roll this right shoulder back, left shoulder forward. Inhale, come halfway up. And then exhale, come further. Take it to your personal edge. Inhale, come back to the center. Exhale, separate the hands, cactus the arms, back bend. Inhale, hands up and overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward. When we swan dive forward, wrap those hands behind you, grabbing for opposite elbows or opposite wrists. Let that head hang heavy.
We're going into Parahastasana from the back. So let the head hang heavy here. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Get the belly on your thighs. And if you already know, you could step onto your fingertips and grab the back of your heels. Go ahead and do that too, wherever you're comfortable at. And just slowly let that head hang heavy and lift those hips up to the sky. Slowly let them go up. Try to pull your belly towards your spine. Get a little bit deeper in the pose. Same thing here, guys. We're looking behind us. Tell yourself, I leave the past behind me as I move forward in life with confidence and grace. Slowly release those hands. Bring them towards your hips. Come up with a flat back. We're going to go into a back bend. It's a good way to open up your heart and throat chakras. There's different ways you could get there. To place your hands, you can have your hands palms on your lower back, fingertips facing down. What we're trying to do is to get our elbows to disappear behind us. Roll those shoulders down and back. There's another way you could put your hands palms face up, but if you put fingertips face up, make sure your whole palm is flat on your back. It's even kind of hard for me to do sometimes, guys. So my favorite is making two fists and putting them here on your lower back. Wherever you're at, listen to your body, do what it's telling you. You want to roll those shoulders back, try to get those elbows to disappear. Tuck through that tailbone, lift up through the rib cage, and then slowly start taking your eye gaze all the way up to the ceiling. Cool. Right here, if you stopped right here, that's cool. You're ready in a back bend, in the beginning states of a back bend. And if you're like, Shar, I think this is all I could do, stay right here. And if you think you have a little bit more in you, keep on making that line all the way behind you. Make sure you're pushing those hips over those ankles. You want to make sure you're still breathing in and out through your nose. Let that head hang heavy. Wherever you're at, wherever position you're in. Try to go back to that intention we set in the beginning of class, your mantra, your color. Slowly start coming all the way up. Everybody's eye gaze comes back to center. Bring your hands to your hips, and then slowly come all the way down. Walk your hands out to the top of your mat, pushing it back into downward facing dog. Breathing in and out through your nose. Just going to work on our hips this afternoon. So we're going to inhale, bring that right foot all the way up. Point the toes, stack the hips, bend the knee. Make sure you're not dipping into any shoulders. And then bring that foot all the way back to center. Bring it back to hip height. Pull it forward and step it on the outside of that right hand. Drop down to that left knee, untuck your toes, let your shin go flat. Working on a lizard pose here. Try to inch your toes as much as you can to the top of the mat. Really getting into those hip flexors. So you could stay high up, just like this. Or you could come onto that edge of your foot, the knife edge of your foot, and let the knee fall out towards the side of the room. And maybe take that right hand and place it inside of that right thigh. And just give yourself a little push. You can also keep your foot flat here. We're going to stay in this position just for a few breaths. And you can come down to your forearms if you like. Or if you have that couch pillow or the block, you can bring that underneath and come onto your forearms here. Your forearms. Your forearms. And so you're like, this This is not even doing anything, and you have a level 3, and only if you have it in you. Don't hurt yourself. Don't try to strain it. Tuck those toes behind you and lift up off that back knee. Wherever you're at, wherever your body's telling you to be. Breathe in and out through your nose. Just remember, we carry a lot of stress and emotions inside our hips. It's always good to stretch them out. So this is our right side. It's our masculine side. Maybe we want to send some love and light to a male in our life. Or maybe you're a male practicing with us this afternoon and you need that little bit extra love and light. Give it to yourself. Now we say this to wherever you're feeling them. You don't want no pain or like a hurting sensation, but when you're stretching your muscle, you could feel it kind of tight. Well, wherever you feel that, try to take a deep breath in and send that oxygen to that spot, and it'll help you relax a little bit more into that pose. Wherever you're at, everybody come back to center. Bring both hands to center. Bring that foot flat. Tuck the toes behind you, and let's play. Why not? If you want to, play along, and if you don't, just go into your chaturanga flow. But if you want to play, come high onto those left toes behind you. Put a big bend into that right elbow and your left elbow. And all we're going to do is make a little shelf and then place that right thigh on that elbow and just kick it out. And then step back, coming into that plank pose. Exhale halfway down. Inhale up. Exhale down and through into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Tuck your chin, lift your hips, push it back to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Up dog to down dog. Relax here, breathe in and out through your nose. Make sure you're rolling those shoulders down and out of your ears. You're going to inhale, lift that left foot up to the sky, and then stack those hips, bend that knee, stack those hips, open up the hips. Bring that foot back to center, hip height, bring that knee into your chest. Roll it forward, place that left foot on the outside of that left hand. Everybody drop down to that back knee, untuck your toes, let the shin go flat. Try to get that foot a little bit closer to the top of your mat. And same thing here. If this is all you have, stay upright just like this. And still in these poses, guys, you're trying to still keep your hips level. You don't want to be sinking too much to the left or to the right. Try to keep your body centered, your hips centered. Yeah, it sounds funny because we're stretching our hip out and our foot's way out here, but just try to keep those hips pointing down center, if that makes sense. If you want to go onto that knife edge of that foot, and push on the inside of that thigh with the left hand. You could do so here. Or wherever you went on the right side, try to take it there on the left. You want to keep your body even. I used a block last time, so I'm going to bring it here. And if you lift it up off that back leg, do so now. Wherever you went, we want to even our body out. Honoring each side. So since we were on the right side, that was the masculine side, now we're on the left. That tells us that's the feminine side. And the same thing goes here. If there's any females in your life that you feel need an extra little bit of love and light, send it towards them. Or if you're a female practicing, send that little bit extra love and light towards yourself. Remember, hips carry a lot of stress, a lot of emotions, so it's good to open them up, release all that tension. Like I said before, wherever you feel that muscle tight, no pain. If there's pain or it's uncomfortable, get out of the pose immediately. But just send that extra breath to that muscle. Try to send that oxygen to there so you can relax into the pose a little bit more. Anytime we're in any uncomfortable position, always remind yourself you're flexible in life in all directions. Everybody slowly come back to center, wherever you are at. We're going to slowly bring that foot down. And if you want to play like we played on the other side, let's try it on this side. Tuck the toes behind you. Make a shelf. I don't know if you can see how I'm saying, like build a shelf with your arms. You want to make sure you have a nice shelf. Bend those elbows. And when you do that, you want to shift that body weight forward and then lift that foot off of the mat. And all we're doing is we have our back foot still on the mat. And then slowly step it back. Pull up, push up. Exhale halfway down. Pull your chest up and through. Coming into that upward facing dog. Try to relax your glutes. Push down to the tops of your feet. Bring your chin to your chest. Roll over those toes. Push it back, downward facing dog. Breathing in and out through your nose. Inhale, bring that right foot all the way up to the sky, going into Virabhadrasana. Warrior series, place that right foot in between your hands. You're going to drop that back foot 45. Make sure both feet are in alignment. Your heels are both feet. You want to make sure your heels are in alignment. You want to make sure you're putting a bend in that right knee. Pull this right hip back, left hip forward. Bring your hands to your hips, and then inhale, come up. You don't want to be leaning too much forward, too much back. You want to be centered, present in the moment. Right here, you can probably see my hips. I'm off to the side. That's why we have our hands here on our hips. Pull this right hip back and pull that left hip forward. Really getting into this pose. Sink it down into those hips just a little bit more. Good job. Inhale, hands up and overhead. And then exhale, give yourself a little back bend. Inhale, hands up and overhead. And we're going to exhale, we're going to drop these hands behind us. Interlace those fingers and place it on your lower back. We're going to drop it down into a humble warrior. You're going to inhale, get a little long. So that's reach your crown of your head up, your ribs up. And then exhale, we're going to come down, all the way down. Bring this right shoulder inside of this right knee. You want to place that right shoulder inside of that right knee. And then you want to drop your head, look underneath your legs, lift those hands up behind you. And if you can't, just leave them there on your lower back. That's fine. Still sinking down in those hips. We're going to slowly start coming all the way up. And then we're going to reach those knuckles all the way down towards the mat. Open up your chest, take that eye gaze up. Inhale, come back to center. Inhale those hands up and overhead. And then we're going to exhale, we're going to drop that back foot 90, open our hands up, coming into Virabhadrasana 2. Make sure your heels are still in alignment here, guys. Make sure you're sinking down into those hips. You don't want your knee going over to the left, over to the right. You want it over your ankle, right in the center. Spread those fingers wide, tuck through your tailbones, no booties out here. Try to get a nice long spine. Take the eye gaze out over to those right fingers. Try to sink down in those hips just a little bit more. I'm going to drop this right hand down inside of that right thigh. Push that right thigh open. Lift that left hand all the way up to the ceiling. Make sure you're spreading the fingers wide. Trikonasana, triangle pose. Inhale back to center. Exhale, really drop that left hand, lift the right. Virabhadrasana, reverse warrior. Try to lift up through this rib cage here, guys. Inhale back to center. Try to sink it down in those hips just a little bit more. You guys are doing good. Now straighten that front leg. We're going to reach forward with this right hand, bump these hips up to the left, and then slowly drop it down. Drop that right hand to that shin, the top of your foot, or to the mat. Here you still want to make sure you're pulling open, stacking those hips on top of each other, pulling the shoulder out and around. You don't want to be sunken in like this. Try to get nice and long, nice and straight. Slowly start bending that right knee, bringing that left hand down, framing that right foot. We're going to come high onto the balls of that left foot, swing this right foot back to meet the left, going into your chaturanga pose. I should not pose, flow, guys. Chaturanga flow. Push it back, we all meet in down dog. Rolling the shoulders down and out of your ears. Spreading your fingers wide. Keep a micro bend into your elbows. Lift those hips up to the ceiling. You're going to inhale, lift that left foot up to the sky. One more side, guys. Bring that left knee into your chest. Roll it forward. Place that left foot in between your hands. Drop that back foot, 45. Remember, keep your heels in alignment here. Bring your hands to your hips and come up with a flat back. Make sure you're still sinking down. You want to make sure that knee is over the ankle. Get your hips, pull them towards the front. Pull that left hip back, right hip forward. Don't be leaning too much forward, too much back. Stay center right in the present moment. Coming back to that color, that mantra, that word, that intention we set in class. Don't let that mind wander. Inhale, hands up and overhead. And then exhale, give yourself a little back bend. Inhale, hands up and overhead. And then exhale, drop those hands down behind you. Interlace your fingers. Keep them here on your lower back. Roll those shoulders down and back. Lift up through your chest. And then exhale, coming down, bringing that left shoulder inside of that left knee now. You can keep your hands on your lower back. Remember, try to take that eye gaze underneath your legs. And then you could drop those hands, getting a shoulder a shoulder stretch here. Wherever you're at, bring those hands back to your lower back. Then inhale, come all the way up. Keep that front knee bent, and then exhale, lift that chest up. Inhale back to center. Bring those hands up and overhead. And then exhale, drop it, open it, drop that back foot 90 degrees, spread those fingers wide, sink down into those hips. We don't want to be up here. You want to sink down into your hips. Make sure that knee is over your ankle. Tuck through your tailbone. Nice long spine. Look over the left fingertips. Affirming to yourself, you're a strong warrior. You can get through anything in life. Drop that left hand inside that left thigh. Reach the right hand all the way up. Remember your breath. Still sink it down in the hips. Don't let that front leg go straight. Inhale back to center. And then exhale, drop that drop the right, lift the left. Reverse warrior. Inhale back to center. Sink it down in those hips just a little bit more, guys. You got it in. You were almost done. Inhale, come back to center. Straighten that front leg. Reach that left hand out. Bump the right hip out. Come all the way down. Remember, breathing in and out through your nose, still pulling this hip open. Try to pull these ribs underneath your body. Pull the right ribs up and over. And we're gonna inhale, come. Windmill that hand down, bend that front knee, come high onto the toes on the right. Swing that left foot back to meet the right, coming into your plank pose, going into your chaturanga flow. Breathing in and out through your nose here. Taking a few breaths. We're going to slowly start coming down towards our mat. Coming back into that peaceful warrior. So bring your knees out mat's distance. Toes touch behind you. Push your hips to your heels. And then let your belly hang in between your thighs just like we started off class. Relax your forehead onto the mat. Close your eyes. Breathe in and out through your nose. Relax your face muscles. Relax your jaw. Drop your tongue down to the bottom of your mouth. Focus on your breath. Feel your belly rise with air on every inhale. And on every exhale, it gets closer to your spine. You guys did a really good job today. Glad you guys tuned in. I hope you're enjoying all the live streams from all of us. Focus on what you want, what you need in life right now. Maybe it's patience, maybe it's clarity, maybe it's positivity. Think of something and just focus on that. Make it happen. Slowly take the eye gaze in between your hands and walk them over all the way towards the right. Slowly bring your forehead down towards the mat. You don't want to walk too much over that you're up high onto your other side. You still want to make sure you're pushing those hips back down towards your heels. Just getting into our side body. If you want a little bit more, you could walk those left fingertips and place them over the right hand. Breathing in and out through your nose, feeling that stretch alongside the left side of your body. If you cross your left hand over the right, slowly release that. Everybody take your eye gaze in between your hands. Walk it hand over hand back to center. Push those hips back towards your heels and then bring your forehead down to the mat.